It's Saturday night, March 3rd, 2018, if you're wondering. And it's time for another Countdown to Retirement video. This is my first installment for March 2018. 16 months to go to retirement. 16, including the current month. Basically, I tell what books I purchased. I go to a lot of bookstores, especially Strand, because I work near Strand. But on weekends, we try to get out, once or twice a month, and sometimes more, depending. Get to use bookstores outside of the area that we live in. So today we went to New Jersey. Part of the day was spent at Dave & Buster's and doing some other fun things with my son because he will be turning 13 on Monday. So what did I get today? I bought Heads You Lose, a Mike Shane mystery. This is written by Brett Halliday. And I have this book already with a different cover. The other one I have is from the 1940s. It's a nice vintage copy. And this is from the 1950s. And the cover is by Robert McGinnis. Then I purchased, that was $1.50, that book, which was a pretty good price. And considering like it's Strand, that would be like $10-15 for those old vintage paperbacks. Then I picked up this. It's Gettysburg, The Paintings of Mort Kunstler, text by James McPherson, and a foreword by Martin Sheen. This is from circa early 1990s, probably 1993, when the movie Gettysburg came out around that time. And it's like in brand new condition. It was $6. Figured it was worth it. Good artist. And then I picked up one other item. I had to run into Target. I wanted to look for some headphones, and when you're paying, they have all these magazines out, and everything is like special edition nowadays. It's how they get a lot of money for their magazines. So that means not like a thick magazine, but it's a Life, Casablanca, the most beloved movie of all time, 75th anniversary, $13.99. It's crazy. I mean, this should be like, $8.99 maybe. I think that's a fair price. It's kind of steep. There were other magazines I would have purchased that, even not just today, but other times that I've seen things, and I just don't because the prices are just stupid. But this I wanted to get. I treated myself to it. So $14, Casablanca, 75th anniversary. I have some books on Casablanca that I have not read yet, and I also need to rewatch the movie. There's just so many things to watch. It's like so many books to read, just can't get to everything. I'm trying. Okay, so that's it for the first segment of March, and stay tuned for other edge of your seat viewing later. It's Sunday, March 11th, and let's check out what books I picked up yesterday at 2 used bookstores. Altogether, it's 22 books, and I paid about $14, $15, somewhere like that, which is pretty good. Okay, so in no particular order, but paperbacks first. Kill Now, Pay Later. It was like brand new, 50 cents. This is by Robert Terrell, and the artist that did the cover work is Robert McGinnis. Next, I have Washington Irving, The Sketchbook. This has a couple of stories with, at least a couple, with Native Americans, and I just wanted basically for that, but it has Rip Van Winkle and some other, I guess, classics, so maybe I'll read those. This looked very interesting. Castle Keep it's by William Eastlake, and it was made into a movie. You can see Burt Lancaster on the cover. I'm not sure what her name is, but it looks interesting. Has some good reviews. The book, and it was 50 cents. It's in pretty good condition. Nice cover. That's a World War II novel. Let's see. Okay, here. Okay. This author, I have a couple of other titles by him. Michael Z. Lewin, Lewin. This one is called Outside In. I don't have it, so now I have 3 different ones from this particular series, the Albert Sampson Mystery Series. And then I picked up 6 Alfred Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock Presents books. Excuse me. One of them I have, but I didn't look it up, and it was cheap enough, so I didn't know that I had it till I got home. Alfred Hitchcock Presents 12 Stories for Late at Night. Alfred Hitchcock Presents Stories Not for the Nervous. Alfred Hitchcock Presents Dates with Death. Alfred Hitchcock Presents This Will Kill You. Alfred Hitchcock's Games Killers Play. And the last one, Alfred Hitchcock's Once Upon a Dreadful Time. And this is the one that I already have. Then, this was kind of just to fill out the box. I didn't really have to have them, but they were like a quarter each. 2, Sense and Sensibility, with different introductions and edited by different people. This one is Laura Engel, which I have. And I wasn't sure of the condition of the one I had, so for a quarter I figured this is like brand new, I'd get it. And this one is edited with an introduction by Tony Tanner. I have another Jane Austen book with Tony Tanner doing the editing, but I don't remember which title it is right now. And then this is Mansfield Park, introduction and notes by Amanda Claybaugh, or Claybaugh. Okay, continuing. This I have in I think a small paperback. This is a larger softcover version with The Old Breed by E.B. Sledge. But it has a new introduction by Paul Fussell, and I don't know if my paperback edition has that. I don't remember. It's subtitled at Pelew and Okinawa. Or Pelew, I'm not sure how you say that. With The Old Breed by Sledge. Here's another Alfred Hitchcock. This is Alfred Hitchcock Presents The Master's Choice. 27 tantalizing stories selected by the world-renowned connoisseur of the ultimate in mystery and suspense. That was hardcover. It was 50 cents. They were having a half-off flash sale at this library. Went to 2 libraries. One of them I bought maybe 2 or 3 books in paperbacks, and the other one is where I got pretty much everything else here. This here, The Sacred Pipe. It's a combination book, actually. It's this Black Elk's account of the 7 rites of the Oglala Sioux, recorded and edited by Joseph Epes Brown. That's The Sacred Pipe at top. And then Black Elk, Holy Man of the Oglala by Michael F. Steltenkamp. And this book has a lot of how Black Elk was, became Catholic. I think is what he became Catholic. And, it's all bogus, in my opinion. People will argue with me about that, but I don't really have like the words to explain what I'm talking about, but I mean, did Black Elk really know all the other religions and decide on this one? I mean, he wasn't really presented with that many options. He was a man who did believe in religion and God or gods and whatnot, and he turned to this. There really weren't many options, but you can't say that he did it completely on his own. I just don't feel it's an honest assessment. I mean, he wasn't presented with really another option of science. He wasn't, which was just silly. He just wasn't presented with a lot. He was working with very limited information and beating people. It's not coincidence that they take the religion of the people that beat them. That's just, it happens. But again, I'm not really saying exactly what I want to say. I always have like smart things to say about this kind of stuff when the camera's not rolling. Like laying in bed at night and thinking, I'm like, oh, that's great, and I don't write it down. Doesn't really matter. It's not like I'm going to say something that's going to change anybody's mind or anybody's going to care or even watch this. So it's just doesn't really matter. It already happened, and it's going to continue to happen. That's just what it is. That's the world. This I have in soft cover. This is a hardcover. The top of the dust jacket's a little bit crinkled up here. They had 2 copies of this. I got it for $1. Normally it was $2. This is a Nelson A. Miles and The Twilight of the Frontier Army by Robert Worcester. So that was hardcover. This here was $1. Reader's Digest True Stories of World War II. No dust jacket, the picture's right on the cover. This looked interesting. Kilroy Was There, a GI's War in Photographs. Photos from the collection of Frank Kessler, written by Tony Hillerman, who was famous for writing mystery novels. Navajo Indian-related mystery novels. This has a lot of photographs in it. Let's see. And it was like in brand new shape. $1. Pretty good. This looked interesting. Battles of the American Revolution by Kurt Johnson. And he also, he displays or portrays a lot of the battles using like miniature soldiers that are painted. So there's like other pictures in the book like that, besides historical drawings and illustrations and maps. It's a concise military history of the war, reconstructing 8 major encounters: Lexington and Concord, Bunker Hill, Trenton, Princeton, Germantown, Saratoga, Monmouth, Cowpens, and Yorktown. Again, Battles of the American Revolution by Kurt Johnson. Another skinny book, kind of like the same as that Kilroy Was There, similar in size, and $1. And basically like brand new. And this one here I was very happy to find. The Films of John Garfield by Howard Gelman. Introduction by Abraham Polanski. I like John Garfield. He died young. I don't remember his age, but he would have been more famous had he lived. He was a very good actor. And so it was in pretty good shape, this book. A little bit scuffed, but not terribly. Good find, and $1. And the last one, Great Lovers of the Movies. And this is by Jane Mercer. And let me see here. There's pictures and text. And I'll tell you who's in the book. There's a lot of people. I won't read them all. Douglas Fairbanks, Rudolph Valentino, John Barrymore, Ronald Colman, Leslie Howard, Gary Cooper, Clark Gable, Cary Grant, Charles Boyer, Errol Flynn, Humphrey Bogart, Alan Ladd, Tyrone Power, Robert Mitchum, Rock Hudson, Marlon Brando, Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, Robert Redford, Clint Eastwood, and I left out a few names. So this is another like skinny, tall book, and $1 in nice shape. So altogether, that was a pretty good book haul yesterday, and now comes the fun. I will have to put jackets, some of the Broad Art clear jackets on these, and then I've got to find places to put them, and I don't even think I'm going to get that done today. I'll just do a little here and there. That's it. Until next time. Bye. It's Friday, March 16th. This is going to be a pretty quick video. I only have 2 books to show for this week. These were picked up outside Strand. This was $1. Raymond Chandler's Los Angeles, a photographic odyssey accompanied by passages from Chandler's greatest works by Elizabeth Ward and Elaine Silver. It's in great shape. I was surprised to see it sitting there. Nobody took it. I took it. Nice shape. Then I picked up this today. It was $2, brand new. I already have it. I read it when it came out in 2007. So what is it? I couldn't say no. Custarology by Michael A. Elliott. So now I have 2 copies. Put the nice clear Broad Art sleeve on it. And that's the two purchases for this week. Have nowhere to go this weekend. We'll be going on a book trip in, I guess, April. And that's it for this week then. So 15 and a half months to retirement. Take care. It's Friday, March 23rd. 1 week to go in March. And then it's 15 months to retirement. It will be April. Can't believe it's already going to be April in a few days. Okay, so what did I get this week? So let's see here. First, a little Amazon order that was delivered earlier in the week. The Big Book of the Continental Op by Dashiell Hammett. It's for the first time ever in one volume, all 28 stories and 2 serialized novels starring the Continental Op. And it's edited by Richard Lehman and Julie Rivet. Surprisingly arrived in very good condition from Amazon. That's a rarity. Then I got 3 DVDs. These were all pretty cheap. Little Miss Sunshine. This has Greg Kinnear and Steve Carell, Alan Arkin, Dan in Real Life. This was very good. Steve Carell and what's that other woman's name? Give me a second. I should have had this ready. I'm sorry. Why isn't it on here in a very obvious way? Oh, Juliette Binoche. You'd think it'd be like big print, but it's not. This is an excellent movie. Really liked it. And this also was an excellent movie, The Reader. Kate Winslet, and as I'm told, even though it says Ralph, it's pronounced Rafe. And his last name looks like, I'm going to guess you don't pronounce it the way it says, Fiennes, maybe. This is a very good movie. Then at Strand, I picked up this week 3 items. This was $1 American Indian Art magazine. It has 2 articles of interest in here. One is an article by Joyce. I think her last name is pronounced Szabo, Szabo. And that is an article that includes art by Howling Wolf, a Cheyenne warrior. And then there was another article in here that had to do with an artist who was painting Eastern Woodland Indians, I believe, and it's kind of like about the body art that they had on them. You can see here. So for $1, that was pretty good. And this was $2. Now I have this book, but it was $2, and it would be good to bring on the train and read at some point before I retire. I'd like to read this book. What book is it? It's Colonel Richard Irving Dodge, The Life and Times of a Career Army Officer by Wayne R. Kime, K-I-M-E. Just a little bit bent over here, nothing bad. For $2, there's nothing really wrong with it. That's a good purchase. Dust jacket's intact. Looks in great condition overall. You know, just there's a little like crease over here, but nothing bad. Certainly for $2 to read on the train, excellent. I don't have to use my good copy. And then this was in like pretty much brand new condition, $2. Cowboys in the Wild West, an A to Z guide from the Chisholm Trail to the Silver Screen by Don Cusick. And this book came out in 1994. It's dedicated to the Lone Ranger. And it's basically a lot of entries. Here we've got a Chief Joseph and a cowboy, I guess Western movie star, Buck Jones. And it looks to be pretty accurate. I was looking up, like, for instance, Geronimo, and it did say that he was born around 1823, whereas most books will put 1829, which is an error. Here's Custer. I just happened to open up to it. This is a combination of, like it says on the cover, from Chisholm Trail to the Silver Screen. So, movies, Western history, various characters, from Native Americans to mountain men to soldiers and so forth. So that's what I picked up this week, and no plans this weekend to go to bookstores. This week went pretty quick, and almost down to 15 months, like I said. So until probably next Friday, I'll finish this up, or Saturday night, I guess. Next Saturday would be the 31st of March. Take care. Bye. It's Friday, March 30th, and just a little short video clip. I picked up two books this week at Strand. The first one is Cary Grant, Dark Angel by Jeffrey Wansell. And the next book I picked up today, it's High Fidelity with John Cusack on the cover. It's the book that the movie was based on. I thought the movie was pretty cool. It's by Nick Hornby. They had a few Nick Hornby books outside, but I'm not familiar with all of them, and I just picked this one. If I like it, I'm sure I could find the other ones again somewhere. And tomorrow I'll be finishing up the month of March with what books I read and movies I watched. Until then, bye. It's April 1st, 2018, and this is actually the last video clip for March 2018. The much anticipated what movies did I watch and what books did I read list. Ooh, edge of your seat. So what did I read in March? I read The Demon Haunted World by Carl Sagan, and I'm going to rate these according to Amazon standards out of 5 stars, 5 being best. So I gave The Demon Haunted World 4 3/4 stars. I read Ruxton of the Rockies, which was written by George Frederick Ruxton, edited by Leroy Hafen, and contributions by Clyde Porter and Mayreed Porter. And that's a 5-star book. Orange Sunset Boulevard, The Life and Times of Billy Wilder by Ed Sikov, Sikov. I gave 3 stars. So that's 3 books that I read during March. Now movies. I watched a bunch of movies. Again, this is going to be a rating system out of 5. I'm going to list the name of the movie and some people who were in the movie and my rating. About Time, which I'm not sure how you say his name. It's Domhnall Gleeson and Rachel McAdams, 3 stars. Waking Life, that's an animated film by Richard Linklater. It's a type of animation called rotoscoping, and I gave that 2.5 stars. Change of Heart, which is like a Hallmark, not a Hallmark movie, but a Hallmark type of like romance movie with Lindsay Wagner, John Ratzenberger, Leah Pipes, and Rick Malambry. I gave that 2.5 stars. Little Miss Sunshine with Steve Carell, Paul Dano, Greg Kinnear, Alan Arkin, and Abigail Breslin. I gave 4 stars. Two for the Road, Audrey Hepburn and Albert Finney. I gave that 3 stars. The Switch with Jennifer Aniston and Jason Bateman and Jeff Goldblum. I gave 3 stars. The Terminal, which had Tom Hanks. I gave 2.5 stars. 3 for the Show. It's a Jack Lemmon movie with Betty Grable and Marge Champion. I gave 3 stars. Mansfield Park was a Jane Austen BBC miniseries from 1983, and that I gave 3 stars. The truth is, I really didn't know what to rate that. I haven't read the book, and the miniseries is, I'm not sure if it's good or not. It wasn't bad unto itself, but it wasn't really that exciting. But maybe it properly portrays the book. I don't know. So if it does, then it was brilliant, and if it doesn't, then it wasn't so great. I'd have to read the book to kind of judge against it. So I just went for 3 stars. Magic in the Moonlight, a Woody Allen movie with Emma Stone and Colin Firth. I gave 4 stars. Although in that movie, I did figure out the plot fairly early in the movie. I was surprised that I kind of caught on to what the twist was going to be at the end. A movie called Once with Glenn Hansard and Markita Erglova. I gave 3.5 stars. One of the best movies I watched of the month was The Reader with Kate Winslet, David Cross, and I'm told his name is pronounced Rafe, even though it's spelled Ralph. Rafe Fiennes. And I gave that 4.5 stars. I watched another movie called Blonde Bait. Must have been like an old black and white movie. I have no memory. I wrote it down. I don't remember anything about this movie. I'd have to put it on again to remember it. Say Anything, a famous movie from, I think, the 1980s. John Cusack, I think her name is pronounced Ione Skye, and John Mahoney. I gave 3 stars. Then I watched A Case of You with Evan Rachel Wood, Justin Long, Sienna Miller, Peter Dinklage, and Sam Rockwell. Again, that's called The Case of You. I gave that 4 stars. I like that movie a lot. A Little Chaos with Kate Winslet, Alan Rickman, and I think it's pronounced Matthias Schoenaerts. And that I gave 3 stars. The Light Touch with Peter and Jelly, Stuart Granger, George Sanders, and Mike Mazurki. I forgot to put a rating here, but I'm gonna go with, like, I don't remember being great or bad. I'm just gonna go with 3 stars. Frances Ha. That was with Greta Gerwig and Adam Driver. It was a black and white movie, and it's not that old. It's from, like, in the last, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years. 3 stars. Hornblower, The Duchess and the Devil, episode 3. There's like 7 or 8 Hornblower movies that were made for cable, and I gave that 3.5 stars. That was my least favorite of the 3 that I've watched in sequence so far, because I felt that it was the least believable. There's some things that happen in there I thought kind of questionable, such as when the English prisoners kill some of the Spanish guards, and yet none of the English get killed in retaliation. I just didn't understand. It kind of bothered me. I thought it wasn't being realistic enough. And I watched a strange movie. I think it's pronounced Simone, but it's spelled S1M, an O with like a line through it, and then NE. And that's with Al Pacino, Winona Ryder, and Rachel Roberts. I gave that 3 stars. It's kind of a futuristic movie. High Fidelity with John Cusack, Jack Black, Tim Robbins, and Lisa Bonet, among others. And I gave that High Fidelity 4.25 stars. And of course, I found the book. I think my last clip, I had recently found the book at Strand for $1. Date Night with Steve Carell, Tina Fey, and Mark Wahlberg. I gave that 3.5 stars. It was overall a good movie, but it kind of got silly and ridiculous after a while. But overall, it was fun to watch. Maudie, Ethan Hawke and Sally Hawkins. Again, Maudie, Maudie, 5 stars I gave that. At the very least, 4.5, but I wrote 5. It was very good. Imagine Me and You with Lena Headey, Piper Perabo, Matthew William Good, and Celia Imrie and Anthony Head. I like that movie a lot. I gave that 4 stars. Imagine Me and You, 4 stars. Love, spelled L-U-V, with Jack Lemmon, Peter Falk, Elaine May, and Nina Wayne. I gave that 3 stars. I was hoping for more from that. It was just kind of like a goofy comedy. I was hoping for a little bit more. Unleashing Mr. Darcy, that's a Hallmark movie, one of those cheesy Hallmark romance movies. I gave that 1 star. The End of an Affair, Julianne Moore and Ralph Fiennes, 2 stars. I was annoyed with all of the religion in that movie. It was a bit ridiculous and inconsistent and illogical if you step back and think about it. And I give examples, but I didn't write anything down. I just remember thinking this is ridiculous. Nothing against the actors. I mean, they were just playing the parts, but the movie itself was the religious part of it just overboard. And that's based on a book. The book might present things better. I don't know. Not that I would like it. It just might flesh it out more. I just didn't care for the way the movie was. Libeled Lady, William Powell, Myrna Loy, Jean Harlow, and Spencer Tracy. I gave that 3.5 stars. Bitter Moon, Peter Coyote, Hugh Grant, Emmanuel Seigneur, Seigner, French, maybe it's pronounced Seigneur, Kristen Scott Thomas, 4 stars. I was very surprised. That was a long movie, like 2 hours and 15 minutes about, or 20 minutes, and it surprised me. I thought it was very good. Under the Yum Yum Tree, Jack Lemmon, Carol Lindley, and Paul Lynde Imogene Coca was in that. It wasn't bad. I gave it 2.5 stars. It was just your run of the mill comedy. Doesn't really stand out, at least to me. It had a good cast. It didn't really. I don't know. It was okay. The Lake House, Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. I gave 2.5 stars because mostly that was like a time travel love story, and it was like back and forth in time, and it was really hard to follow. I mean, some stories like that with flashbacks and time traveling, some of them are done well and you can kind of follow. This was just confusing, and even logically, I wasn't even sure how it made sense. I didn't think about it much afterwards, and I wasn't even sure that it was a logical movie. Um, about a Boy with Hugh Grant, Nicholas Hoult, Toni Collette, and Rachel Weisz, who's married to Daniel Craig, James Bond. So again, that's About a Boy. I gave that 4.25 stars. I like that movie. And Clay Pigeons, Joaquin Phoenix, Vince Vaughn, and Janine Garofalo. 4 stars for Clay Pigeons. I thought that was a pretty good movie. So that was quite a bit that I watched, and that is the end of my list here. We are now in April officially, and again, it's April 1st. 15 months to go to retirement, and it can't be a minute too soon because I work with some idiots. I thought I was so upset on Friday. I thought of making a video called "I Work with Idiots," and I just thought better of it and didn't bother. I don't even know what I said here. Just part of the retirement thing. I mean, I can't wait to get out of there because just some of these people just drive me crazy. Okay, till next time. Take care.